A few weeks ago, I sent a client an invoice for $3,000 for a single AI chatbot. It took me under a week to build, and in this video, I'm going to break down every single dollar of that price. So you understand exactly how to charge this much for AI work without feeling like you're overcharging. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to structure a price like this, what actually justifies charging thousands instead of hundreds, and the exact conversation I had with this client that got them to say yes without pushing back once. If you've ever built something with AI and then quoted a price and immediately felt like you were asking for too much, I've been exactly there. My first few AI projects, I charged $50, $100 because it genuinely didn't feel like it took real work. The chatbot only took me a few days to build, so in my head I was thinking, how can I charge thousands for something that fast? It took me way too long to realize I was pricing based on my own insecurity, not based on what the client was actually getting. Here's the shift that changed everything for me. Clients aren't paying for how long something takes you, they're paying for the problem it solves and what it's worth to their business. A chatbot that saves a business owner 10 hours a week answering the same customer questions over and over isn't worth $50. It's worth thousands, because that's real time and real money back in their pocket every single month. So, let me actually show you the breakdown of what this specific $3,000 quote was made of. Here's exactly how I broke this quote down for the client in writing, so they could see the value line by line instead of just seeing one big scary number. Chatbot build and setup, $1,200. Custom training on their specific business information and FAQs, $800. Integration into their website and their existing customer service flow, $600. And ongoing support plus one round of revisions for the first month, $400. That adds up to exactly $3,000. When you break the price down like that, the client isn't just staring at a scary total, they're seeing 4 separate things they're actually paying for, and each one on its own feels reasonable. Most people building AI chatbots charge way less than this, and it's almost always for the same 3 reasons. 1, they quote a single flat number instead of breaking it into a value-based structure like I just showed you, so it feels arbitrary, and clients push back. 2, they don't clearly explain the actual time savings or money savings the client gets, so the client has nothing to compare the price against. And 3, honestly, a lot of people just don't believe their own work is worth that much yet, and clients can sense that hesitation immediately. Now, building and iterating on client projects like this fast is a big part of why I can even offer this kind of turnaround. For a lot of my content and workflow automation around client work, I actually use Faceless so to handle repetitive production tasks, things like explainer content for clients, or even internal training videos. So I can spend more of my actual time on the higher value technical work, like the chatbot itself, instead of burning hours on production tasks that can run automatically. Here's roughly how the actual conversation went, because I think the wording matters more than people realize. Instead of leading with the price, I led with a question. I asked how many hours a week their team spent answering repetitive customer questions. They said around 10 hours a week between 2 employees. I did the math out loud with them, showed roughly what that time was costing them in wages, and then presented the $3,000 quote as something that pays for itself within the first month or 2, not as an expense. That reframe from cost to investment that pays for itself is genuinely the single biggest thing that gets clients to say yes without haggling. Now, clients don't always say yes immediately, so let's cover the objections you'll actually hear. Because knowing these in advance changes how confident you sound. If they say that seems expensive for a chatbot, you go back to the time savings math, not the technical complexity. Nobody cares how hard it was to build, they care what it saves them. If they say, can you do it cheaper, you offer to reduce scope, not reduce price for the same scope. Maybe drop the custom training phase, not the whole project. And if they hesitate on ongoing support, offer it as an optional add-on instead of bundling it in, so the core price stays firm. Doing the math like this completely changes the dynamic of the meeting. You are no longer a freelancer trying to justify a high price tag. You are a consultant showing a business owner where they are leaking money every single month. Most business owners are so buried in day-to-day operations that they do not realize how much repetitive tasks are costing them until someone maps it out on paper. When you show them that they are spending over $1,000 a month just to have staff manually type the same 3 answers to basic questions, your solution stops looking like a luxury. It becomes a glaringly obvious business decision. You are effectively handing them a tool that eliminates a recurring monthly expense and permanently scales their output. Once they see the numbers in black and white, the emotional resistance to spending thousands of dollars completely vanishes, because the data makes the decision for them. To be clear, not every chatbot is worth $3,000, and you shouldn't quote this price for everything. That's actually one of the fastest ways to lose trust with a client if the value clearly isn't there. This price makes sense when the business has real repetitive volume, meaning real customer questions coming in constantly, when it's trained specifically on their information instead of generic responses, and when it's actually integrated into where their customers already are, not just sitting on some separate page nobody visits. If those 3 boxes aren't checked, the value story gets a lot weaker, and so should the price. The businesses most willing to pay this kind of price are usually ones already spending money on customer service staff, or ones that are losing potential customers because nobody's answering questions fast enough outside business hours. Local service businesses, online stores with repetitive support questions, and small teams that are already stretched thin are usually the easiest. Yes, you're not selling technology to them, you're selling back their time. A good way to find these clients is to actually watch how businesses respond or don't respond on their own social media and messaging channels. If you message a local business and it takes them 2 days to reply to a simple question, that's a business that's actively losing customers to slow response times. And that's exactly the kind of business that becomes an easy yes for a project like this. So, to recap, the price isn't about how long it took you to build. It's about what problem it solves and what that's worth to the client. Break your quote into clear value-based line items instead of one flat number. Lead conversations with their time cost instead of your price. And only charge premium rates when the project actually justifies it with real volume and real integration. If you want to see the exact tool I use to handle the repetitive production side of client work so I can focus on higher value projects like this chatbot, the link is in the description and pinned comment. It's free to start, no credit card needed. And if this breakdown helped you rethink how you price your own AI work, subscribe. Because next week I'm showing the exact proposal template I send clients that gets this kind of price approved on the first try.